but there were times I had to get him man-to-man.
And your favorite team that you guys love to face in your division?
Yours.
Yes, sir.
Like the games like you play against the Raiders, you might get 3 sacks. When they had Jamarcus Russell, which I did. So I got 3 sacks on them. I got 3 sacks on them in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And I'm ready, and they take Tommy Maddox.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to West War Room Rivals. I am your host, Cody. I'm joined with my comrades in the War Room right now. We got Caleb down at the bottom, Shovix to my opposite side. Fellas, what's going on?
Just hanging out.
You know what? We got a little bit different uniform on right now. We've got some baseball gear on because tonight is a special baseball edition of the War Room. We have a very special guest. Before we get started, though, we do need to give some shout outs to some sponsors and also one other special person that we need to give recognition and show love to. So first off, with some sponsorship, shout out to Rival Codes. Go to rivals.com, use Rivals10 to get 10% off your merch. It is not just apparel, it is territory. Also, Field Ops Kansas, Troy and the crew, shout out to them for being day one sponsors. Emporia State Federal Credit Union, Angie and the team, the War Room's Banquet of Choice, also day one supporters. And the main one that helps us run the show, as you can see Austin with his hat on, JBW Solutions. We are recording out of the JBW Solutions studios. Jeff and the crew, thank you so much for your love and support. Go visit jbwsolutions.com for all your safety needs. One last thing that we got to say, obviously we're a man down. We have Matt, who is serving our country right now as he is serving in the Navy. Matt, if you're watching this, buddy, we love you. We miss you. We hope you're safe over there. Can't wait to hear all the updates that you have for us, but we're going to do our best to maintain the show while you're gone, but you're always with us. So we just want to give a shout out to Matt and all the service members that are out there protecting us right now and that have served. Thank you guys for your service as well. All right, guys, we have some special guests in the studio right now. We've got MADS, who is a content creator for the Yankees specifically, and also former MLB pitcher, best known for his time with the New York Yankees, Joba Chamberlain. So welcome to the stage, Mads and Joba. Hey, guys, how you doing?
World Series champion, by the way. We'll throw the respect out there that he deserves, as you see that rock right there. Yeah, World Series champion.
All right, Austin, kick us off with your first question.
All right, so this first segment, it's going to be Mad's Meltdown. We're going to just give her a topic, and she's just going to rant about it, and then we're going to let Joba react how he sees fit to her rants. So the first one, we're going to go not quite the current Yankee season, but, current Yankees spring training and kind of the outlook on the Yankee season.
I feel good right now, personally. I didn't feel too good before they started playing the games. I was on another podcast the other night talking about this. People don't love to hear that they're running it back. And I think that there were definitely players who were free agents this winter, who we should have gone after, but we didn't. And obviously I was a little upset about some of those. But the way that they're playing right now is very encouraging. And I really think even some of the younger kids on AAA and AA, I think that they are doing really well. And so I'm excited. I feel good about it now. A month ago I didn't, but I do feel good about it now.
I agree though too. What I think what the WBC does in a good way is it gives the younger kids a little bit longer time. So we actually get to see more at bats. And they're always going to say, well, everybody wasn't there, but at least they get time to feel comfortable, because a lot of what they do with bringing the young kids in is making them feel comfortable about when they make that jump, because they still got to spend a little bit of time with the guys before they left.
Right.
So when you come into a clubhouse that you've never been in, that was the scariest thing for me, because I didn't go to big league camp. So I knew of these guys because I watched them growing up. But now when you get some of these prospects and what have you, now they're comfortable. Like they have a rapport. People kind of see them and they understand like the training staff, the clubhouse guys and stuff like that. So I love what they do. It's going to be interesting. Some of these moves that either their hand's going to be forced or they may not be forced, but yeah, they're running it back, but at the same time, they're not running it back with scrubs. So it'll be interesting to see how the dynamic of this season progresses throughout the entire year.
Yeah, that's I agree. So Mads, what's one thing that's driving you insane right now?
Ooh. Probably not knowing like what they're gonna do with Spencer Jones, Jason Dominguez, the whole thing with Volpe and Caballero. Are they actually gonna have Caballero be the shortstop even when Volpe comes back? I think there's just a lot of unanswered questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just at this point that it's still early, but it's not.
Right.
I think you look at it and you got everybody coming back, and then obviously GL doing what he did. He had a 97 homer off up in the zone, and you've seen what he can do. Obviously, it's a different situation. Like spring training is for these young guys, like it's a little bit more relaxed and they kind of get to be themselves, and it's a little bit different when you get into regular season. But you kind of see their abilities at that level, facing guys like Garrett and all that stuff. So I think I don't necessarily if it makes me mad. I'm kind of interested and frustrated sometimes because it's like sometimes it feels like they talk out of both sides of their mouth. And that's why I'm not invited back, because I don't hold back. I just say the way I see it. Like I'm not trying to say they're doing anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in the clubhouse. I'm not in the front office. I just read and I care and I love the game of baseball and every facet of what it is. And if the Yankees are good, it helps baseball. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
It's just part of it. And so whether good or bad being talked about is good for baseball in some context.
So with that, I've always said that spring training seems long, and I know it's worth it for some, but these guys have been throwing and working out for, before they had to report to camp. Do you think spring training is kind of like at that right time, or do you think maybe it's a little overplayed?
Matt, you can take this one.
Um,
I'll feed off you. I'll throw you the alley-oop and then I'll dunk it.
I think it's long considering the fact, like you said, they do work out for quite some time beforehand. But as a fan who hasn't watched baseball since October, November, it's like I'll take as much as I can get. And I think a lot of people are also in the same boat. But some of the guys like Stanton, they're not playing him until this week. He didn't start. Some of the other guys haven't really started yet. Cam Schlittler's pitching, I think Friday, they said. So I mean, they do kind of stagger it, but yeah, it is long.
Yeah, and there's no off season. Like back in the day, spring training was to get ready. Now, like you have to be ready coming into spring training.
Yeah.
And it jumps off quick. That's why usually pitchers are ahead of the hitters, just because we've been going. And when you get a lot of the guys that come and they start facing live BP, especially, we would always get frustrated as the old dudes because you'd have these young guys like taking swings and I'm just trying to work on a pitch or something. They're like, I took you deep. I was like, I told you it was coming. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, so I think they do a good job of like knowing people's demeanors and knowing like, do I need to give him an extra day? Should we throw him here? Or should we do this? Should we limit his at-bats? How many does he need? And when you get to that point, you're able to talk and be like, hey, I need 25 at-bats. That's all I need. And they kind of just balance it from there. And you kind of seen how it is. WBC obviously changes a little bit. And this stuff around Scooble and what he's saying, like, I understand where he's coming from because he's used to being built up and it doesn't matter because he's working at stuff. But when you're representing your country, you're not trying to go out to lose. Like, you're going out to throw.
Mm-hmm.
You're going out to pitch and get guys out. And they're ready too. So I can understand that, but I think they do a great job like staggering it and how, okay, let's give him 50 pitches, but then let's give him an extra day because you have that extra time. Yeah. So I think it does help.
So it's kind of like them strategically playing a glorified all-star game, but it's obviously the stakes are higher because it's WBC, right?
Well, yeah. And I think if you guys listen to the interview, he was just like, if they did it like the hockey 4, whatever, like during the middle of the season, that's different because you're in playing shape. Like you're ready to go. So it wouldn't be like they're putting you in a different situation where as we're starting, they're technically still in spring training. Mm-hmm. So I can understand where that's coming from. And it's different when you get an opportunity to represent your country. Stands for a little bit different.
Right.
So I can see it from both sides where people are like, well, that's unfair. He's taking a spot from somebody else. Well, do you want anybody else pitching for us anyways, even if he's only giving us 55 pitches?
For real.
No. No.
All right, Mads, back over to you. What's one player that you're defending no matter what?
Carlos Rodon.
Okay.
I should have known that.
Former Giant, by the way.
Favorite pitcher. Yes.
Why are you defending him?
He had a good comeback story. Like, he came over to the Yankees and he was terrible, could not figure it out. He was like, the crowd would boo him when he got off the mound and he was blowing kisses to them, and it was just a huge thing. But last year, he was exactly who we needed him to be, especially with Garrett Cole out. He really needed to, pick up some of that slack. And I think he was the only starter. I think maybe Will Warren pitched all of his starts too. But Carlos was like one of the only guys who was consistent, and he pitched every single time.
Okay.
All dudes that answer the bell, I love. I mean, just because the game is switched where they don't give the 100 pitch mark is kind of the magic number of what we've seen and how bullpens have been being built. The one, and I'll catch flack for this, but Jazz, for me, like, if you look at what he did last year and how valuable he was to the team, the thing that he did, but some people don't like his antics. Whatever, you have to have that dude on the team. There has to be 10 different personalities to win. And if you're telling me you want somebody else that does what that fine, go ahead, get somebody else. But are they going to produce in Yankee Stadium with his personality and do it?
Mm-hmm.
And play different positions that he really wasn't accustomed to?
Right.
And people are like, oh, well, he's too flamboyant. It's not New York. Well, yeah, everybody said that about me fist pumping and whatever. Goose Gossett came out and said, that's not the Yankee way. Well, the game has changed, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've got to embrace that, because that's part of a culture of a clubhouse that makes you win. Every team has them.
Yeah.
So why, just because the Yankees have been different for so long, can't we change?
Well, and I think you see it also with a lot of the younger guys now that are the face of baseball. Fernando Tatis, those guys, Ronald Acuna.
PCA.
Yeah, like it's different now. And let's be honest, the game needs it for the simple fact that you're trying to draw in that younger crowd now. Like we've all heard it, the ratings and they want more people invested. They want more kids watching. Well, they don't want the same old, and I love the old school baseball games. Don't get me wrong, but you need that flair. You need, you basically need those guys that are going to talk shit at the end of the, seriously, that's what it is. And I have no issues with Jazz. I have no issues with Acuna. I always say it's like a football method. Like, you don't like it, stop it. Do better against him when you're facing him on the mound.
Well, that's the one thing. It's like, if you don't like it, play better. Like, be better than him. But the great balance is you have guys on that team, and every team has that, where he just goes out, does his job. That's not his personality, and that's nothing. That's not a knock against him. Right. Garrett's a fierce competitor. I remember clearing benches with him when he was at the Pirates and we were with the Tigers. I'm standing in right field and just BSing. Between the lines, we battle, but we understand the game and what it is and how we protect our teammates and do all that. And he's going to do that. You're going to have Judge obviously be the politically correct, hey, I'm the captain and understand. But there has to be guys that they're salt and pepper shakers, where they shake it up a little bit. You got to throw some spice on it, and you need that. And you see all the winning teams that do it. They have bits and pieces of all that put it together. That at the end of the day, they're the last one standing.
Yeah, no, that's true. When you were saying that, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about the 2015 Royals. You had Yordano Ventura. Yep, you had Yordano Ventura, who was spicy. You had Sal, who was just a joy. And then, you had your garbage pail Gordo. So you're right. There has to be that balance. And it came together for that Royals team. So you say that, and that's where my mind went.
And then, Mads, we'll get back to you. So what's one take that will make Yankees Twitter fight you?
I think, I don't know. I feel like you guys are going to fight me. I think, barring any injuries this year, any major, bumps in the road, I think they will make it to the World Series. I know.
How's that? How's that going to get them to argue? That they're going to be on your side?
None of them like the Yankees. None of these Oh, I'm talking about you guys. I think
That's fair.
No,
Because I was like,
No.
yeah, I mean,
I'd agree. Like without injury, that's really tough. I mean, Statton's injured annually, it seems like. So I mean,
you can't
if
open
he,
a bag of chips right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
I know
it's
that
all,
would hurt me. That
No,
would hurt
I
me.
feel like people on
Yeah.
Twitter are just so negative all the time, and I'm always the one
Always.
to be like, this, like, it's not over until the very last pitch of the very last game. Like, a lot can go wrong, but a lot can also go right, and I think that this team is going to do it.
Yeah, you're right. It does come down to a pitch. I mean, there have been teams who have blown 3-1 series leads.
Mhm.
Look at
Anyway.
That's what they did in the second half last year.
Yep.
Worst collapse ever in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fair. So, would you admit that there's a Red Sox player that you like that maybe gets to the Yankees fans that want to fight you if you agree, like a Yankee or a Red Sox that you like?
No.
I'll lose my mind.
That's what it's like. Let's. Yeah.
All right, so we have a bonus one for you, Mads.
Okay.
Kind of spring training. I know we've started spring training, but leading up to this, what really made me laugh at kind of what you put out there was all your frustrations with like Boris and kind of the lack of moves. So if you're in the Yankees front office for one day, what's the first move you're making?
This could get him fired up.
can't wait.
Yeah.
I think I definitely would have taken a chance on one of the people coming over from Japan. Whether it was I don't think Murakami would have been a good fit for the Yankees, but I think either Kazuma Okamoto or Tatsuya Amai, I think we should have gone after one of them.
First of all, you absolutely crushed those names.
Better than I would have ever done.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out for you. No, I was hoping you'd say something fiery, like, I would just release Judge.
No.
So he can come to San Francisco like he was always meant to.
Yeah, he could play with Arson.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, just like Ohtani was supposed to go to the Giants.
Toronto.
Everybody was supposed to go to the Giants, and for some reason they didn't want to come. So
For some reason.
yeah,
That California state tax gets you, dog.
I'm not gonna lie, it is really, really tough.
It's not getting the Dodgers.
No, that's because they put everything on layaway. That's why.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But the thing is, they still have to fund that every year.
Yeah,
I do.
I think if I'm not mistaken, they have to put it in some sort of like trust that accrues interest, and then they pay it on the back end. If I've heard correctly, right?
They pay it on it, so it's not. It sits there, yes, and it's back ended, but they still pay on it. It just doesn't go towards the luxury tax and everything, like for the per year.
Yeah, I wonder if Ohtani's going to be the new Bobby Benet. I think that's the one who gets the annual like 1 point whatever million for
July
like the
1st.
next 15 years
July
or something
1st.
like that. Yeah.
Bobby Bonilla Day.
I think Ohtani's going to take over that for as much deferment as the Yankees put on his deal.
Ohtani doesn't care. He makes so much money over
So much.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right, Caleb, start us into segment 2. These are going to be a little bit of questions directed at Joba, and we'll get Mads' perspective on the ones where it can apply.
So, Joba, who on the team did you look up to the most as a mentor during your time with the Yankees?
Oh man, that's tough. I think all of them for different reasons. Like some the way they handled media, some the way they handled themselves, some the way they taught me to be a parent. I mean, I had my son when I was a junior in college, and a year later I was playing for the Yankees. So, I got Andy Pettit's number tattooed on my arm because it was just, he was able to like break it down on like, hey, time, and like make sure you spend time and do these things. And then when we got CC over, it was him just making sure everybody was together as a family, and we ate together, and we spent time together. Derek, and just holding yourself accountable and answering, whether it was just taking care of your teammates or doing it. And then Jorge just being an absolute red ass and telling you the way it is and doing those things. So I think there were so many different aspects of the game that you just try to soak in with guys that you played with. Ichiro's another one when I got to play with him. His routine was impeccable, like on how he did things to get ready for the game, and to watch him. And I always played right field during BP, and he would come out and we would shoot the shit, and it'd be like each it's bouncing a little bit hard off the corner, and he would like go take our balls. Like he's listening to me, and I'm like, no, you don't really need to listen to me. Like I play out here all the time. So, and he was like, no. And then one day I was like, I want to eat your glove. I've watched you. Like I faced you when you were in Seattle. I could never strike him out. It was the worst at bat ever because he never swung and missed.
Mm-hmm. And
so I tried throwing everything and plus the kitchen sink at him and couldn't get him. And he was like, I didn't like it either. I was like, you're a liar. And so I was like, can I get a glove? And like literally there was a glove on my seat. And then so in the Japanese culture, and my dad was full-blooded Native American, so the name is like giving gifts is like something that is adored. So if you get one, you know, you give one back. And like I gave him one of mine, and he like came over and bowed and everything. I was like, you're just gonna throw this in the closet or like give it to your dog to chew on as a chew toy. I was like, so it's just there's been so many guys that I looked up to for so many reasons, and in the way they did it. And you know, I was fortunate enough to play 11 years, and those guys played a lot longer than me, but I would have never been able to play that long if it wasn't for bits and pieces of every single one of those guys.
Those are incredible stories to hear behind the scenes of the dugout and in the locker room. Because I mean, obviously we talk football a lot, and we've been really blessed to talk to former football athletes, but to hear a baseball perspective, and you guys are essentially together 162 plus playoffs, and especially you guys with having such a deep, obviously the World Series run. So it's cool to hear a different dynamic of sports and brotherhood in that sense.
Yeah, you see them more than your family. So when the off season comes, don't talk to me. I don't want to see you. Don't message me to come and do a foundation event. I just want to be at home. But you end up doing it anyways.
Yeah, of course. So Mads, I got a follow up for you. So is there a current Yankees player that you see on this roster right now that is that type of mentorship that Joba had in his time, but that you see on this current roster for these players?
Yeah. Okay. So I won't say Judge because I feel like that's very obvious. I'm going to go with Paul Goldschmidt. I think he's a great player. Obviously, he's a veteran. He's very good with the younger guys on the team from obviously like a fan's perspective. And when he was signed, he fully signed with the Yankees, knowing that he wasn't going to be an everyday player. And I think part of him knew that he was going to serve as a mentor to the younger guys on the team. And I think people asked him if he was offered more money to go elsewhere. He didn't say that. You can assume what you want. But he took the position with the Yankees knowing that he wasn't going to be an everyday starter. But it was obviously important to him to be there for the younger guys.
And obviously living here in St. Louis, he's obviously they loved him here. Obviously I'm not the Cardinals fan. I have no interest in the Cardinals, but just knowing just knowing that, you know, him, Arenado, all those guys here that are no longer here, and they're starting to see the ripple effects of that. So I've always been a Goldschmidt fan. Just loved how he's carried himself and going from the Diamondbacks, obviously, out here to St. Louis. So that doesn't surprise me that that's your answer at all.
Yeah, same.
Well, also too, Mads, if you think about it, it's the same reason he came back, because they were going to move Ben over there, and they knew there's nobody better to teach him and be patient. He's obviously still going to get some at bats, obviously,
right.
But he knows, and you made a great point of he came here knowing that, and then that's the reason he came back too. Is like he knows that his time in this game is like he's been one of the best, the most consistent, but he knows like he's going to leave more to the game than he's ever going to realize, because that's the reason he came back to teach these kids, and the understanding of being able to, you know, pass on his knowledge so that they can be better, because I mean, he's been one of the best for so long, and it's cool to see when they can kind of swallow their pride and be like, you know what, I did what I wanted to do in this game, and to be able to pass the torch on and leave the game better than you found it.
Right.
Yeah. And I think there was an article that came out maybe a week or two ago, and he was asked like about mentoring, specifically Ben Rice. And he said, yeah, I had a conversation with Ben, and last year there were a couple times where I wanted to say something, but I wasn't really sure how he was going to take it. You know, I kind of bit my tongue. I didn't want to overstep, but Ben Rice was like, no, like, even if you think I know it, tell me anyway. Like, anything you tell me is valuable and I can learn from it. So I think that that's a really good relationship that they have. And I mean, the whole infield is all younger people. You have Volpe, you have Jazz, you have Wells behind the plate. I think that just having someone like Goldschmidt on the team is good for all of them.
Mads, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What do they do with Volpe? He's had over 2,000 at bats and he's a 216 hitter. How do you run him out there every day?
So if I was in charge, I wouldn't, but I'm not. So.
Hey, now we're getting somewhere. Here we go, boys.
I mean, yeah, he had a shoulder injury last year, and they won't like talk about the shoulder injury being the reason why he played the way he did. But I mean, how many more years can you go out there and perform like that? I think that if this year he doesn't perform up to standard, I think that this will be it.
Okay.
But I mean, I think 3 years is a lot. I mean,
do you think then they address that as spring trainings happen, like before the start of opening day or at the trade deadline? Like, do you think that they make a correctable action at some point this season if Volpe isn't producing?
I don't think it would be before opening day because he is still injured technically.
So they can't do anything anyways. It would have to be the deadline.
It would be the deadline. Personally, I don't think they would, try to find a shortstop because I think George Lombard Jr. is almost ready to go. And he's a great player. I don't know if you guys have seen like his capabilities yet. But I think he's going to be really, really good. So I don't think they would be interested in, finding another shortstop at the deadline. I think they might just wait it out. Or if Lombard is ready, they bring him up, but I can't see Volpe performing the way he did last year and still having a spot come the trade deadline or next season.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, trade deadline for baseball is always interesting, and I don't want to be the trade deadline yet. I actually like to enjoy opening day. I like to build it up to that point. I'm not ready for the July to get here yet. So, Joba, back to you. Obviously, we know about the career accolades, the World Series. Again, I can remember watching those, and it's crazy to me that I'm getting a chance to ask you, what's your favorite kind of memorable moment during your time in the Pinstripes?
Oh man, there's a lot, but probably winning the World Series and having my son and my father there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've always wanted to play baseball. Never thought I'd get the opportunity. Lucky enough to play in college, and it kind of just transpired from there. I got to play at Nebraska and in front of my friends and family, and then one thing led to another, and got to play with and against a friend of mine that I grew up with, in Alex Gordon, and experienced some really cool things with him. I own him. Side note, he has one hit off me and is a Texas League shortstop. Not that that's neither here nor there, but so yeah, there's so many, but like as becoming a dad sooner than I had anticipated, that wasn't obviously on my bingo card when I was 19. But then being able to have Carter on the float with me, my dad there, and just share that moment. And, the one thing I could just tell my dad was thank you, because he gave me the opportunity to do it and put me in every situation that I could be. Granted, he couldn't play catch with me and do all the things that he could, but he instilled the mental aspect of work harder than everybody. You're not the best, but go out and prove it. And so, yeah, just sharing that moment with him, and he was looking for me and he couldn't find me. It was everything was kind of all over the place, and I'm looking for my son. And next thing you know, we all kind of get together. So I think for me, that was the coolest thing, is just having my son and my father all there watching. And my son still hates champagne to this day because he came to the dugout and Swisher just smoked him right in the face.
Oh no!
Like when he does interviews, he still tells that story. He's like, I don't like the champagne part of any of it now.
Oh.
Swisher, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. So he just came in and just whacked.
Oh.
I didn't think he knew Carter was on the shoulders, but whatever.
Yeah.
So we typically like to do we had the former football players on. We had to talk about a draft night story. But I want to talk to you about
that's a fun one.
Oh yeah.
You got a fun draft story?
Yeah, I had Carter and a baby Bjorn. I was sitting in my sister's basement laundry room because we didn't have what they have now. So I'm just on my phone waiting to see my name come across, and here's Carter, and I'm just rocking him and just waiting for my name to pop up. That's my story. Everybody else's is way cooler than mine. I'm over here.
You'd be surprised on the stories that we've heard.
We've heard some crazy ones.
I think one was in a drive-through, fast food drive-through. His wife just gave birth, actually, so he and his sister were getting food. So
my college story, I was at Wendy's.
There you go. So the question I was going to go with on this one was, what's your mindset? You're walking out there in the World Series. Skip tells you, hey, it's your time. What's your mindset as you're getting ready to walk onto the mound during a World Series game?
I mean, it's everything you've ever wanted to play for. I mean, obviously putting a uniform on to just step on a big league field for the first time is one thing, but it's like, all right, then you kind of take a deep breath and you see what happens. And it's like, okay, where I'm with all these guys, like we got a chance to actually win this whole thing. And, you watch World Series and you watch them and you see how cool it is, and you see, the parades and all the other stuff. And you never think that's going to be a part of what you do. You just hope to get the opportunity to play. And I think just when you get it for the first time, you're more nervous, the anticipation, than you are actually like getting on it. I remember Game 6, I stepped out the mound and started laughing. Like, I'm a 23-year-old kid, like wanting to live every dream I've ever done. And like they asked me, like, why were you laughing? Because I just stepped off, because this is before the disengagement of the rubber. So I had time. I didn't have no pitch clock. And I just looked around and I was like, this is really happening to me. Like, I'm like literally about to win the World Series. Like, this is crazy. And so, yeah, it just, you're more nervous in the anticipation than you are actually going, because the anticipation is you can't control it.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm in control, I'm at ease, because it's if I execute this pitch, I'm good. And then it's like, if you mess up, I got 7 guys behind me, 1 guy in front of me trying to save my butt. So I'm like, okay, I can mess up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we're at ease the most, is because we control it. I watch my son pitch, and I'm more nervous and more mentally exhausted than I've ever been pitching, because I'm going with him. And it's like, there's nothing I can do. I'm like, Carter, throw in, elevate, go in, off, soft away right here. And so like, I'm going through the entire count myself. Then when he's done, I'm like,
you feel like you pitched.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So Mads, I know you said you were a wee little chap at this time, but where does that Yankees, winning the ship with Joba, where does that rank for you?
First of all, make me feel older at this point. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, so I remember I was telling the guys before we like went live, I remember like bits and pieces, but not, enough, obviously. But those were games that like I could watch with my dad, so they're definitely pretty high up, even though I don't remember the full thing. Yeah, I think watching with him was more special than, being able to remember a whole season and, blowing it at the end. So
yeah, absolutely.
Well, I can remember when the Royals won in 2015. I didn't want anyone watching the game with me. I told everyone, I'm not watching with anybody. You're not coming over to my apartment. Leave me alone. This is the most important game of my life. I don't want you guys ruining this for me. Stay the hell away. Like, I want to lock in the game. I don't want questions like, what are they doing here? What are they going to do here? Just want to watch the game by myself.
Yeah.
Valid. So Joba, did you have any superstitions or pregame rituals on your start days?
Yeah, when I started, throughout my entire career, I literally got dressed the same way every time. Everything from the right side to the left side. Always. When I started, I'd always eat the same meal the night before.
Yeah.
And then I'd get to the field and I would have to drive the same exact way I did.
Mm.
So yeah.
Superstitions are real.
Yeah.
They're real.
Yeah.
Still to this day, like when I get dressed, I still have to put my right sock on first and my right shoe.
Mm-hmm.
When I drive to get gas to the same gas station I always get gas from, if I have to pull in a different way, I will pull back out and go back in the same way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get over that, but yeah, it's weird sometimes.
So I have a question about clubhouse culture, but I actually have a follow-up to your ritual one. What's the most interesting ritual that you have seen from a teammate or from an opposing player?
That's the easiest question you guys could ask. Ichiro, he would literally grab a lint roller, and Ichiro would lint roll in front of his locker, set a towel down, and stretch every time. I'm like literally lint rolling to set his towel down to stretch. It was, I was like, what? I don't know like you see people and get dressed and they do this and they have the same time but like literally lint rolling in front of his locker. I sat straight across from him. And there was some times where I wouldn't do anything and I would just sit there like this and just watch it because everything was like so in place. He never wore the same socks, shorts, anything twice. Never the same cleats, nothing.
I mean, after watching him my whole childhood, I think that's how I'm going to start my days.
I know.
See if it works.
Yeah.
Something to it.
I mean, he's still in uniform, like still hitting BP and still doing. He's what 50? Gonna be 53 or 54 now.
I think I saw a clip where he was pitching, I think in the Japanese league, and he's still throwing, I think like in the high 80s, I think, and that's just him not playing every day anymore.
Oh, and he's still in full uni. I just saw a Mariners like preview, and he's in there in his glasses. He's got his salt and pepper now. We're all getting older, but yeah, it's that man. If he wanted to play right now and to get ready, he 100% could play.
Yeah.
Not every day, but he could play. He would be serviceable.
Yeah, I believe that.
Wild.
So when you were with the Yankees, then of course, like that was a big pivotal part, title in 2009. What was the culture like in that clubhouse during your time there? Like at one point, was it pretty down and then there was things along the way that built that culture up, or what was it like in there during that time?
Well, it was all weird because we didn't make the playoffs in 2008. So we obviously old stadium was gone, new stadium. And, obviously we added new players, huge names, which was awesome. But it was weird because our April stunk. We were awful in April. And so it was like, oh, they spent all this money. They did this. And we're like, what in the hell just happened? And so we just like, I think there was we had one walk-off and it kind of like just changed. Everybody just kind of like, nothing was said, but everybody kind of just realized, like looked around the room. And we were like, all right, here we go. And then we ended up having 13 walk-offs that year. And so that just kind of changed everything and how we just knew it. Like, I don't care if we were down 3 or 4. Like we knew we had a chance to win. Did we win them all? No, we didn't. Mm-hmm. But we knew we had a chance. And I think that's what changed it is our first walk-off where everybody just kind of we celebrated and we're like, AJ came out and I think AJ switched it up depending on if he liked you or not, whether it was shaving cream or actual whipped cream.
Okay.
He got switched with whipped cream all the time just to piss him off, which was hilarious. Because if you've ever had whipped cream, it's great. If you've ever had shaving cream, it's not fun.
No, yeah.
So AJ always did it, and it was awesome. And I think that was the trajectory that kind of changed to where we were like, all right, we have the guys here to do it. We finally believe because everybody expected, and I think we kind of expected at the same time to get off to a great start just because of what we had. And I remember I started in Kansas City opening week and got my family a suite because, as you know, it's freaking cold the end of March in Kansas City. And so I leave the game like 6-2. We end up losing. And so it's just like everybody kind of was just like, like what's going on here? And then that first walk-off kind of changed the trajectory of like, all right, we got through this. We're fine. We got months left. And it ended where we wanted it to.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the crazy thing about baseball is you don't want to have a bad month, but it's one of those where you can kind of bounce back from a bad month. Now, if you have a bad, April into May, then you're maybe setting yourself up because then by June, July is when teams kind of start separating depending on division and whatnot. But what in your opinion though, like, was there a certain point where you were like, shit, we need to figure this out now? Or was there just no panic and everyone kind of stayed calm?
I think with just all the old guys, because I mean, there weren't very many young guys at that point. It was like they brought up Gardy. I was there. Husey was there. Then we had just a bunch of old. We added a couple guys, but there was a handful of us young dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But most of us had been around long enough to now, like, everybody just kind of never panicked because the older guys, gave us that confidence. It's like, hey, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Like, we're going to go through stretches and it's going to suck. But if we can wade the storm out, we'll be all right. And when you see them not panic, because you panic because you're like, damn, am I going to get sent down? Like, if I'm not doing my job, am I not doing this? And so you self-internalize that, like, I need to panic. But then when you see everybody else just like, all right, we lost another one, that's okay. Like, just make sure you get after your work and do that, and they don't panic. It makes you take a deep breath and be like, all right, I'm okay. Let me make sure and learn and try to get better from it and ask questions. And that was the biggest thing, is like, we had so many guys that you didn't feel scared to go ask them questions. You're like, how did you do this? And like, what did you see here? And I think sometimes young kids get very intimidated by that, to be able to go up to them and feel like it's a stupid question or whatever. But we've all had those questions at time. And I think that's what made it easier to be able to go up to those guys and be like, hey, was this the right pitch for me? Like, scouting report says it is, but for me, is that the right pitch? And they didn't pull no punches, which was great. And it made you feel better because you knew they weren't.
So then that goes into the pressure aspect of this. Everyone knows the Yankees history, the Yankees franchise history, the Steinbrenner, all that. What was that pressure being in New York like?
There's no such thing as pressure. Pressure is when your wife or somebody comes home and says, house burned down, we don't have any place to live. I'm not curing cancer. I'm playing a game of baseball. There's no such thing as pressure. Pressure is what you put on yourself. Pressure is making sure you leave this game better than when you found it, and being the best man, husband, friend, brother, anything that you can be. Pressure, when people talk about the game, that's not pressure. I get to do something and get paid millions of dollars that I love to do. Like, that's not pressure. Pressure is making sure I spend time with my family. I get stuff done that I need to get done. But also, pressure is part of what it is, and people put more pressure on themselves than they should.
Yeah, I agree. I love that.
Perfect answer. Yeah, take that, New York media. Anyway. So this is going to be quick, rapid fire. Both you can answer. It doesn't matter. You can shout it out. I think you guys are going to have the same answer. Do what?
Ladies first, always.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, I think you guys are going to have the same answer for this first one, but we have to ask.
Yeah, I'm surprised this one even made it.
Yeah, well, you never know. It could be a different reason for Joba, but
just in case.
Yeah, best Yankees rivalry.
Yankees Red Sox.
Do you have a favorite Yankees Red Sox moment, Mads, that you can like recall that comes to mind?
I don't know.
Are you old enough?
I was going to say,
Probably not.
the one I remember is when Pedro was throwing people to the ground.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm old enough to remember when Pedro threw a bench coach to the ground, and it was all.
You can't name the bench coach?
Unfortunately, I can't remember. Unfortunately,
Don Zimmer.
That's
Zimmer,
right.
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I knew that. I didn't want to say names because I wanted to keep respect on his name.
Hey, God rest his soul. He was a great to baseball.
But yeah, I don't know,
Right.
Matt. That still might have been a little too young for you. That's the one that was coming to my mind.
I mean, I think the earliest like Red Sox Yankees fight that I remember was, I don't know if it was Tyler Austin or Tyler Wade got like hit with a pitch and he went after Joe Kelly.
Tyler
Like,
Austin and Joe Kelly.
Oh,
yeah.
Joe Kelly, yeah.
Joe Kelly had some fire to him. Oof.
Yeah.
Big time.
That was a good one, though.
Jabba, do you have a memorable Yankees Red Sox rivalry game that comes to mind?
I will, but I'm going to ask Mads a trivia question
Oh, okay.
about Tyler Austin. So Tyler Austin, in his first at bat, hit a home run. In the same game, in his first at bat, who was the other one to hit a home run?
It was Aaron Judge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Dang.
They did it back to back.
Yep.
Fresno State alum.
Okay, Mads.
That's, you gotta, I'm a baseball historian. So like, Caleb, you want to talk about Braves? I'll go in all day, son.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Mine is probably getting thrown out of my first ever save. And we talked about this a little bit, but yeah, it was my first ever save in the big leagues. And I just so happened to get thrown out of that game by throwing at Kevin Youkilis. And Daryl Cousins, I got a great picture. I just built a house, and so I haven't finished my office yet. And I got like 2 setups in my studio and stuff over here, but I have my hands out like this. I'm like, I didn't get a warning or anything.
Uh-huh.
Guess who threw me out?
Is it the one and only Angel Hernandez?
Yeah.
Was he as difficult with the strike zone then as he was before he retired?
Yes. Bad.
Yeah.
You know who actually, like, the funny thing, so I've been thrown out twice. Once I was already out of the game, and I called Joe West a lot of things, and he finally threw me out. And I was like, I'm already out of the game anyways. But he was actually really good behind the plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angel just sucked all over.
Yeah. No argument.
Pretty consistent, I'd say. Yeah.
Consistently bad.
Right. Yeah.
So that was really cool to hear from me. So my dad's a massive Yankees fan. He actually wanted me to ask you about it if you didn't mention it, because that was his only game he ever got to watch at the old Yankee Stadium. So that was pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
Shout out to your pops, then. Thanks for coming and watching me blow my first ever save.
I think you gave him a great memory for it.
Oh, he loved it. He said he was giving Red Sox fans crap the whole game, so he loved it. He loved every second of it. But I guess on to my next question is, what's the toughest lineup you faced?
I guess I can't be for Mads, huh?
I know, I was like,
it could be in a different aspect, though. Toughest, honestly, this is going to sound weird, but it was my first start in the big leagues because they had already came out and said I only had 70 pitches, and it was David Eckstein, Scott Rowland, Shannon Stewart, Matt Stairs, and I saw them all walking the next day. And I'm at 101 fastball away to Shannon Stewart, 72 curveball to 101 away, and he didn't swing. And so I'm 1-2, and we're like, we weren't swinging until we had 2 strikes because we had no chance against you.
Mm-hmm.
And they all told me that the next day, but they already knew that I only had 70 pitches. I lasted I think I threw 46 pitches in the first inning because they didn't swing at nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I got a standing O when I left in the second. It was the most embarrassing hat tip that I've ever had in my life because they were like, we weren't swinging. Like, it was just, we knew we were going to throw strike one, then you were going to do this. They're like, we weren't swinging. Sorry. And I'm like, yeah, sweet. Here I go. They get taken out in the second inning. I'm like, yeah, great start. Not. But that was the toughest one just because they knew everything. I had tough at bats, but that was the toughest lineup because they were all veterans.
Yeah.
They knew what they were getting into, and there wasn't much scouting report on me at that point. And they're like, he just throws hard and can spin it. That was really about it. And so, yeah, that was the toughest one I had. It was fun getting to know those guys afterwards, but it wasn't fun at the time.
I think it worked out for you at the end.
Yeah, I mean, well, Scott Rowland's a Hall of Famer, so
that's, I mean,
David Eckstein's a World Series MVP. I mean, I'm an MVP in my own right to my son, I think, maybe, and that's more important. But I got a couple World Series, so I guess it turned out okay.
Yeah, I think it worked out for you too. What current Yankee from the 09 championship team would thrive in today's game?
Oh, boy, that is – the game has changed so much. We had a lot of grinders. Not a lot of dudes with, what people want to talk about with metrics and spin rate and all this other stuff and
pitch clocks.
things I deal with all the time now with a sophomore in college, trying to figure out where the hell we're going next. One that I would say that could play in any generation is Brett Gardner.
That's who I thought
I
of.
was gonna say that. I think he would be really good on this team.
What about the inverse? A current Yankee who would thrive on the 09 team?
Ooh. You know,
That's a good one.
that's really good. Because you got to have a little bit of that 09 team. We had some young blood in there, but we had like the old school part of it. From this team, you know, honestly, Austin Wells.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay.
In a sneaky way, I think there's more to him than what he precedes, based upon the things that I've seen. Obviously, you've never met him. Another one that I think really could is Oswaldo.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he would be good.
I was just expecting
He
Judge.
talked to me like he knew. But you don't give judges every answer because you could give that to everything.
It's true. Yeah.
Like everybody's like, oh yeah, great answer. No, you got to try to think outside the box.
I mean, the question should be how many home runs would Judge have off of Babe Ruth? I think is a more appropriate question.
By the way, when he hit 62, I predicted 62.
There you go.
So he has you to thank.
No, I just picked it because it was the number.
There you go. All right, so segment 4, and this is the fan versus the former pitcher. So it's another fun lightning round. So Mads, we'll start with you. If the Yankees don't win a title in the next 3 years, are you going to panic?
Yeah, because at that point it'll be 20 years.
Unacceptable.
Judge isn't
wow.
getting any younger.
Sorry,
Joba feel old.
I know.
I think, yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen next season. Nobody knows that. But 20 years, and you have Judge, and you have Giancarlo Stanton, who's going to retire without a ring, and you have Garrett Cole, who's not going to have a ring with the Yankees. You have all these people who their talent is just wasting away. So, yeah, I would think I would panic.
I mean, how do you not? It's
Yeah.
And I've had this question too about it. Like, Judge's numbers are going to be his numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens? Like, there are great players, there's great Yankees. If he doesn't win, that doesn't make him a legend.
Mm.
And that's tough because he deserves every right.
Right.
He's going in Monument Park for his
Yes.
numbers, but when people look at it based upon what you've done and who you are in your numbers, and you never won one, we can look at it across all sports.
Mm-hmm.
You can.
Yeah.
And that doesn't take anything away from what they've done. Dan Marino's a great one in football.
Any Chargers player.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was
Uncle
coming.
Rico?
Uncle Rico.
I mean, Philip Rivers, sorry.
Yeah.
He tried this last season.
Hey, he just needed to start over because he had another kid, so he gets another 5 years of insurance.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
now he's a grandfather, so that was insurance for the grandbaby.
Yeah, I mean, he gets another 5 years to probably be a first ballot at this point.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, it does reset for him, unfortunately.
All right. And then which player do you think fans judge too harshly?
She's going to say none. They're all judged very, very fairly.
No.
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 I'll take this one first. I think until last year, it was Judge, and I'll give you that answer
It was.
because it was always he never did anything in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
then
I guess
now-
you're right.
Now it's going to be the exact opposite, where he did something and nobody else did. But so why couldn't he carry the team, and why couldn't they win?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I remember that postseason 2 years ago when they were facing the Royals, for example. Like, it was like every big moment that was for the Yankees, it was Judge at bat, and he would strike out.
And
Where
Stanton would pick him
you
up.
would have Stanton coming in, and the Royals couldn't figure Stanton out at all, and he was, gaps or he was hitting home runs. And then, Austin Wells. So I think if I remember correctly, Judge was like 091 in that series against the Royals.
Yeah.
And the Royals obviously didn't win that series, but that would have been a huge topic of discussion if the Royals would have been able to come back. Now, the Yankees obviously had the pitching staff that series in the lineup, but that wasn't Judge at all.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the series Jazz really got?
That was Jazz.
Yeah,
Jazz
got fired up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then Caleb.
Okay, so which player deserves more smoke?
He's like, I love all Yankees.
Out of what?
Just a little more heat, a little bit more of this harsh judgment.
Yes.
All of them?
Yeah,
Well,
I feel like
also
I'm gonna say all of them. They won. Individually, they've been great. But put it together and win.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
If you
I mean,
want
that
me to be
Toronto
honest,
series was horrible.
honest,
Like they could not figure it out.
Booney and Cash, figure it out.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to ask. And I didn't want to get too in depth with it just because, but I said earlier, and I mentioned it, that you're the Yankees. Everyone knows the history of the Yankees. There's expectations that have always been with the Yankees. It's been World Series or bust. And you continuously come up short. And it's always, well, is a managerial or is a manager change going to happen? Is it going to help? Is it going to do this? Is it going to do that? I mean, I think at some point in time, you got to start looking a little higher up and figure out. You have front office guys that aren't doing what fans have expectations for. But you're the Yankees. There's expectations to win, and if you're not going to show your fans that you're going to do it, Yankee fans are passionate. They're going to let you hear about it.
Corey, let me just ask you, and this is for all of you guys.
Okay.
Every guy and girl in here. If you don't succeed for 15 years, do you still have your job?
No, I mean you have expectations. I mean, they pay you to do a job, so that's
the Raiders cycle through a head coach every 18 months. So yes, no, we're well aware of.
I'm not talking bad about them whatsoever, but in any other organization, profession, Fortune 500 companies, CEO, CFO, whatever, don't matter.
Yep.
You haven't won for 15 years, and there hasn't been any change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking shit. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just talking what it's like to own a business, to be, and if I don't do it for, if I got the chance to be there for 15 years and didn't win, I'm not going to be there for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I know from my perspective as seeing in baseball during my youth and now watching it today, I remember there's a period where the Yankees were competitive, if not every year, every other year, or at least they made free agency additions. They brought in a high profile prospect that was able to get called up. There was some movement, monumental, or, we used to have a joke where the Yankees would just buy every star player and add them to the lineup, and then they would go out and win. And, this 15-year period or whatnot, it doesn't feel like the Yankees that I remember growing up. And I'm not a Yankees fan, but I just don't remember seeing as much movement or urgency from when I was witnessing them, because I do remember the 2009 World Series, and I remember that they didn't have this long of a playoff drought. Even before that, it was just this, like they used to figure it out, or at least they would put urgency to get it right. And
our 2009 one was the longest since 96.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the longest.
Well, now it's almost eclipsed now, right? Because if it wasn't for the World Series, right? Because I think the Dodgers and Yankees World Series was their first one since 2009 appearance. So I just feel like the Yankees recently just haven't made urgency moves, to Joba's point, that I remember seeing when the Yankees were still staying relevant, in my opinion.
Boom.
All right. Actually, my next question, so it's kind of awkward silence now. But Joba, the pitch clock today, how would you do in today's game if you had the pitch clock on you when you pitched?
Fine.
Yeah.
I wanted to get the ball and go. I wanted to have tempo. I wanted to have rhythm, because when I when I fell out of it, it was when like I overthought stuff, and at this point, it's like I was interested to see how it was gonna go, but it only affected a few people. Kenley Jensen is one of the ones. He was a human rain delay. Love him to death. Love him to death. Great dude. But gosh, he took forever. But most of the guys that start, it's like you're 2 pitches ahead anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So like I want to miss here because I got to go here. Like, so we're at the point where we don't need, like, they have it in college and it's the coaches calling and doing whatever, and which I personally hate, because you make the catchers become robots. They don't get to see the game and call the game. Now they have to listen to the game. They don't get to see the game, which I don't like, but that's the way the game has changed. But with the pitch clock, it wouldn't have changed, because I want to get the ball and go. Like, I don't want my infielders on their heels. I don't want my outfield getting boring, because they're going to save my butt.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get the ball and go. So they're ready to go. They're ready to make a play for me. So it wouldn't have affected me at all.
Mads, how do you think you would do with the pitch clock?
I agree. I think the second I slow down and get out of that rhythm is when I would start messing up. So I think I would definitely like it. I think it would keep me on track and keep everything smooth.
Are you both in favor of the pitch clock, or do either one of you have an opinion against it?
No, I love it.
I like it.
The one I don't like is the relievers, because look how many. Like, let's talk about your Giants for a second. Look what Javi Lopez did.
Yeah.
And Ron Vallone spending as long as he did.
Mm-hmm.
O-Dog, who played for like 15 teams, where those guys, Darren Oliver.
Yep.
Look at how many influential left-handers that we can bring up that aren't super big names, but they helped win, and they've all won World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And now they got to face 3 to speed up the game. Well, the end of the game is supposed to be a chess match, not a checker game.
Right.
And where I get to use your bench, you get to use my guy, you get a pinch hit. Now I've got to take this guy out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing of all, like, I don't like change. None of us do. But I don't think all of it has hurt the game. That's one that I don't really like.
Mm-hmm.
So with analytics, do you think it's helpful, or is it an overkill?
I think there is a space for analytics, but there's also a space for you to put the eyes on the prize. So you go look at guys that look at the Brett Butlers of the world. Bunts, runs. He ain't got no extra velo.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at, Altuve. But if you just look at him and like go off of what he does, nah, I'm good. Dustin Pedroia, Arizona State. Like, really? Rookie of the Year MVP. Were his metrics the greatest? Did he run the fastest? No, but did he work his ass off and was a gamer? That's a dude I want. I don't want a dude that has the greatest exit velo, has the highest spin rate, but he doesn't go get me outs.
Mm-hmm.
Go get me outs.
Yep.
You have a runner on second, you have no outs, and all you want to do is lift and separate and get exit velo. Well, that doesn't do a job. We could win the game by 1 by you just getting a runner over with less than 2 outs for that guy behind you to do that.
Right. How many times? No. Watching baseball, how many times I say that? No, I also hesitated when you said Brett Butler and bunting. My mind went to Billy Butler and bunting for a second. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Got a stolen base in the playoffs.
We did.
You did. Mads, what about you? You a big fan of the analytic part of baseball?
I think it definitely plays a decent role, but you can't rely on it completely, because like you said, you want guys who are going to get out, so you don't really care about the numbers in that kind of situation. I think it definitely should be taken into account, but I don't think that should be the only thing that you're looking at.
Should be a nice mix of analytics plus gut feeling type thing. For sure. Joba, do you think you could close games in the Yankees bullpen?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah?
Without a doubt. Like, because I feel like I'm going to beat you anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to fail 70% of the time.
Yeah.
I wish I would have thought about this when I played, because I give them too much damn credit. And I'm like, if I just go I could throw a terrible pitch, but I still got guys behind me. Like, I'm going to go in and throw with conviction. Like, I could go get outs right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long I could go, but I could go get some outs.
You're like, see, this is why I don't want that 3-batter minimum for myself.
Yeah, like, go give me a couple. Like, oh, there's a lefty coming up. Yeah, I got this guy. We're good.
Right.
Yeah. Mads, you think you could close?
I think
Probably not.
If you can throw 60 feet 6 inches, they'll swing and miss. Position players. Look how many times that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll
Caleb.
be at a lot of games this year if they need me.
If they need you, I don't think you're going to be a very happy camper.
Yeah.
So this is a question for both of you, but what does it mean to be a Yankee?
I mean, you wear the pinstripes with pride. You go out there. I do agree with the World Series or bust mentality. You go out there, you want to win. You want to take your team all the way. Yeah.
I grew up a Braves fan, but I grew up a baseball fan.
Mm-hmm.
So as the history of the game, and one of the coolest thing ever is to not only get announced by Bob Shepard, but by Ben Scully. And two of the coolest things as a baseball fan that had the fortunate pleasure to be able to play this game and the honor to wear a baseball uniform for as long as I did is the coolest thing. Winning in New York is different. It's just different. And I think I wouldn't say it's gone, but I think it's different. And I think if they get back to that, they'll understand what it means. But being able to wear that, and one thing that I don't care about what I've done, my greatest joy in the world is being Carter's dad. That is the greatest joy in the world to me. I was fortunate enough to do something really cool. Now I get to watch my son do the same thing. But to be able to say in a storied stadium such as Old Yankee Stadium, to have the last ever strikeout is probably one of the coolest things, where I'll be a trivia question till the day I die.
That is cool.
That is.
Mads, this last question is for both of you, but Joba, you just gave a really nice answer that I think can't really trump any answer from this question. So Mads, I think I'm curious from you as the Yankees fan, what makes the Yankees fan base so different and special for you?
I think there's a big sense of community. I mean, I see it all over the internet. I'm very active on Twitter, and you stay together through the wins, through the losses. Players will go from one team to another, and when players come to the Bronx, you welcome them with open arms, and you're just really excited to see what they can do for the team. And like Joba said, it is winning in New York is a different environment. And so it's so exciting when, new players come over and you want to see what they can do. Jazz, for example, yeah, he was great on the Marlins, but when he came to New York, like, I remember my cousin saying to me, yeah, he's gonna thrive under the lights. Like, this is gonna be great. So it's just really special when people come together like that.
That's cool.
The fans are the best, honestly. Like, I was terrible years, I was great years, but I owned up to it. And I think they respect that because of the blue collar, the grind that what is Yankees fans. And if you're real and honest, like, I don't get back as much just because my son is busy, but when I do, the love that I see is beyond more than grateful, beyond more than anything I can tell anybody in words, because I never thought I'd have the opportunity, first and foremost. But when it happens and you see it, you just kind of take a step back, and you're so grateful for the opportunity because you never thought you'd ever had it.
And
He was talking to you, Mads, when he's talking about Yankee fans. Take that in.
yeah. So last one for me, and Joba, you're talked about your playing days, but you love watching your son grow up playing the game that you grew up loving. So give us why baseball still matters
Oh, I mean, baseball's gonna be here. It was here way before I was here. It's gonna be here way before I'm gone. What I love about it is the relationships and how I still have so many relationships with Sue Drow. If she's watching, hope she gets better. She's dealing with some health issues, but she used to give me whistles when I was in the trop, and I'd always see her. And still to this day, we talk. And the relationships that you create throughout the game are not only with your teammates, not only with the game of baseball, but even bigger. Because as I tell everybody, I'm only a baseball player for so long. I'm Joba Chamberlain for the rest of my life. And that's a cool thing that the game of baseball gives you.
Amazing answer.
You as a fan, why does baseball still matter?
The people. It brings people together. Even like when I'm at the games, I don't know the people who I'm sitting with in my section, but by the end of the night, you're all like, you feel like you've known each other for so long. You bond over the team and the sport and everything that comes with it.
No, I agree. I was fortunate enough a few years back, went to Wrigley for my birthday. Being a Cubs fan, going to Wrigley for the first time was awesome. We decided to be bleacher bums, and I'm with you on that. Like, it wasn't even just the people around us. Like, there was dudes 3 sections over, 5 rows down. We all rallied around him because he needed one more thing to happen for his bet.
Mm-hmm.
So we were rallying for that. So what you both said, like the relationships you can build with just complete strangers along the way. I know we're a football podcast, but I've told the guys, and I've said it plenty of times, baseball's my first love. I love baseball. I wasn't very good at it, but I still loved playing it because, I don't know, baseball's fun. But I do have one final question. It is for Joba. We do typically ask our former players this question. If you're ready for it, here it comes. But it's, what do you want to be remembered for when people say the name Joba Chamberlain?
I was a great teammate. Everything I learned was from my father. And nobody's any better than anybody else. I got the fortunate pleasure to put a uniform on and do this, but the greatest compliment I can get, and I don't care if I'm in the Hall of Fame or not, is when somebody mentions something is like, he was a damn good teammate.
Love that.
Absolutely. Love
Amazing
that.
answer.
Yeah, no, fantastic. We love asking the former players that because, we get different answers from kind of what you did mixed in the sport, but also just as a person, right? Like, as fans, we see you as players, but one of the main reasons we started our show was to get to know the person beyond the player. Mm-hmm. So we like asking that question. Mads, we're going to give you one final word. If you want to say anything, hype up the Yankees, hype up yourself, hype up your own podcast, anything you want, we're going to give you a chance to just let it out.
Okay. I'm really excited for this season, and I think no matter what happens, it's going to be good. And, like we said, even if the team loses, even if we go through our normal summer swoon where, we're 0 for 20 or whatever, we still stick together and, we always come back out the other side.
How many games are you going to go to?
I think I have tickets for 20 right
Nice.
now.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Joba, Mads, this has been amazing. I've been blown away by getting a chance to talk to both of you, and Joba sharing stories, Mads hearing your fandom for the Yankees, I think is pretty incredible. So I appreciate you guys making my night, at least, for being able to meet you guys and have fun talking sports and life and everything in between.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Corey, do you have any final thing?
Yeah, no, again, like I said, obviously growing up watching you pitch and play, and I told these guys last night when we were talking previewing this, like, I'm not going to try. I hated the Yankees growing up. But obviously, I was a Royals fan. The Royals weren't very good either. So I think that had a lot to do with it. But I loved watching I loved everything the Yankees and Red Sox stood for with rivalries, and that's part of our West War Room Rivals. We love everything rivalries, and I do miss that the Yankees and Red Sox, when they do, like, it doesn't seem like there's that fire or that pizzazz that you guys had when you played. So again, getting to talk to you, watching you play, and it's just like surreal. But again, you both always have a spot on this show whenever you want to come on here. Loved having you guys on, and we'll always have you guys on to talk more baseball.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Be well. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And I hope you guys return on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joba. Thanks, Mads.
See y'all.
Man, what amazing humans, right?
Yeah, it was a great episode. Loved it.
Joba had such great stories. Matt is such a hoot with being a Yankees fan and hearing her perspective on the team.
How about his beard, though?
Huh?
How about his beard?
I almost didn't recognize him, man. He's definitely, if he was on the Yankees today, he would not be wearing that. Well, actually, they changed the grooming rules, didn't they?
They did. And again, it's just one of those where rivalries were different when we were, younger. You can literally go to YouTube and type in baseball fights, and it's basically just from that era.
Yeah.
Whether it's Jason Varitek, Alex Rodriguez, where Kyle Farnsworth, Nolan Ryan, right, and those guys. So baseball has lost a little in that retrospect, and I think that's kind of what is cool, is being able to talk to him about those playing days. And the dude won 2 World Series rings. Like, for the love of God, man, like who else can sit here and say they won World Series? We've had Super Bowl champions, we've had Hall of Fame coach, and now we've had World Series pitcher, and obviously played for one of the most winningest organizations in American sports. So,
yeah. So Shovik brothers, when you guys had this brainchild of an idea, did you guys ever envision interviewing Hall of Fame coaches, Super Bowl champions, or World Series champion?
No.
And obviously when we started this one, and Cody, you remember, because I came to you and Matt, and I told you guys, hey, I want this show, and here's kind of what I want to do. I want to bring players on. I don't care if they're former players. I don't care if they're current players. Yes, I want us to talk about football, but I also want us to have a meaning outside of that, and that's talking to former players and getting perspectives off the field. Because again, like I said, we grew up watching these guys, right? So like, we see them on TV, we see them doing this, then you get them on a screen and you get a chance to ask them, and then you start thinking, you're like, not only were you a great player, but you're just a great person in general. Like, there's so many things that go on that's not sports related.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, and I think it's wild that Coach Dick Vermeil was one of the first people to respond to me, which is the craziest thing to think about. But I also think it's kind of fun to get like the fans like Mads on, right?
Yeah.
And I know we kind of with season 2, we have an idea in the works, but I love getting perspectives like that. Like, you can tell she's a fan with how quick she answered that trivia question too.
Oh yeah. She knows her stuff, which I think is the coolest thing about, because again, like, obviously we, in our fan bases, we feel like we have some insight because we're focused on that. But to hear, like, from Matt's perspective of being a lifelong Yankees, her perspective of what they're doing in the off season, what the season's going to look like, and the passion behind it, I think makes it fun. And for Joba, who obviously majority of his career was played on the Yankees, helped them win a World Series, for him to be able to hear from a Yankees perspective, her knowledge and passion, I think is really cool to have them next to each other. And for him to kind of have a little fun bantering with her about, this and that, and getting her fired up a little bit. So I thought it was great. Joba is a special human, and I think it's cool that he lives the way he does, and how many shout outs he gave to his son and his pride for being a parent, I think is also pretty stellar.
Yeah, us Midwest folks are different, Cody.
What do you think, us Californians just leave our kids or something?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, there's a lot I could get into.
Yeah, I almost cracked a little jokey joke.
I know, we got to watch out.
Yeah, you got to watch out. We got people watching. So, I mean, again, we're not going to talk football tonight, but I do plan on getting back on a TikTok tomorrow. There's a lot of football stuff that's happening, and it's starting to ramp up. Obviously, last night's episode talked about Trent McDuffie, and then today Trent McDuffie was traded. So again, like I said, Jesse Newell had mentioned that to us a couple weeks ago, that was on the table. So again, love seeing Jesse talk something into existence. So there's a lot to unpack and unravel. Not just for that, but Raiders and Chargers and Broncos are obviously making some stuff up. So I'm going to go on TikTok Live. I know Caleb had mentioned possibly joining me if time allows. And then Cody, are you still planning on doing for old time's sake tomorrow, Drew Code?
As far as I know, Drew and I have tomorrow planned to go live on Drew Code. I have an idea I want to run by him, which all four of us and Matt too, we've been kind of talking behind the scenes about what we want to have this show and a network that we're hoping to further dreams. But yes, hopefully tomorrow, Lord willing, if the creek don't rise, we will have a Drew Code. What that show will look like, I have no idea, because I gotta go back into the memory bank about how we used to run that show, and it's gonna be funny because I'm wondering how many times I'm gonna slip up and say the War Room. So
yeah, that's fair. But I do want to end this in tonight on, again, Matt obviously not being here. We're gonna hold the fort down for Matt, so I'm always gonna make sure that we give Matt a shout out because this is still his show, even though he's got other things going on right now. But again, Matt, if you get a chance to see this, buddy, we miss you. We love you. Giving all the thoughts to your family, and we can't wait to have you back on here, buddy.
Yep, definitely miss him. And Angel, Aiden, shout out to you guys. Yep. If you guys need us, to reach out to us because we're family. We're there for you. So, all right, boys, let's go home. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to West War Room Rivals. If you have not, please subscribe to the YouTube channel where you are probably watching this, or if you're watching us on X, feel free to subscribe from there and also follow us on that. You can see the handle down below, the @West War Room Rivals. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, Threads, any social media platform, we are there. Shout out to Rival Codes. Go to rivals.com. Use Rivals10 for 10% off your merch. Field Ops, Troy and the crew over there at Field Ops Kansas. Emporia State Federal Credit Union. Thank you so much for Angie and Jeff. Also, thank you for your service, Jeff, for protecting us. And, thank you, JBW Solutions, for supporting the War Room as we are recording out of the JBW Solutions studios. Fellas, we will catch you guys on the next episode. Have a great night, and we will see you.